Labour, and getting shredded to pieces is something that goes hand in hand these days, doesn't it? In today's video, we will see why they have been blasted once again as they slowly lose control of the British public. Not only that, but we will also go over all of the latest news from up and down the country. But first, hit the like and subscribe button for more. During business questions to the leader of the House of Commons, Sir John Hayes criticises the government's plan to repeal the Freedom of Speech Act. Check the clip.
Chairman, to serve under your benevolent stewardship. The House may know that I'm not an advocate of unbridled anarchic freedom. I know the harm men can do with unfettered free will. Nevertheless, the ability to speak freely is the mark of a civilised, open society, which is why the last government introduced a bill in higher education in the light of woke tyranny. Now, I'm disappointed that the Honourable Lady, who I know is a diligent servant of this House, would allow such a bill to be rescinded, and yet the government have said that's exactly what they will do. They're going to reverse that advance we made. So will she allow debate on free speech? For George Orwell said, as she may know, that if liberty means anything, it means the right to tell people what they do not want to hear.
Can I thank the honourable gentleman for that question? This government has been clear that in support of our world-leading global university sector, we want to end the culture wars that have ensued against our fantastic universities. As the MP for two globally leading universities, I know that message and that change of tone has been widely welcomed in the sector, but I'm sure at education questions next week he may want to raise the...
Labour's goal is to stop us from expressing ourselves. What's your thoughts on this clip, and what are your thoughts on Labour? Let me know in the comments. In other news, hundreds of bodies, mostly of babies or young children, have been found in a mass grave in Oldham. The mass burial pit in Royton Cemetery in the northern outskirts of Oldham, which measures just 4 metres across, contains over 300 corpses, and was found by a resident looking to track down her stillborn brothers. Independent local councillors Maggie Hurley and Jade Hughes were contacted by the resident and revealed the results of their profound and heartbreaking investigation online. The pair drew attention to what was once the common practice of taking stillborn babies and burying them without their family's consultation or knowledge, and have warned that their discovery could be the tip of the iceberg on more mass graves across the Oldham area and beyond. Mass graves in Britain tend to carry associations of centuries-old plagues, but the investigation in Royton has revealed stillborn infants were being buried as recently as the 1960s and potentially even later. The councillors said that the resident came to one of them with an issue she had been chasing for years. They said her brothers were born in 1962. Sadly, one was stillborn, and the other died at only 5 hours old. Her mother and father never saw or held them. They were taken away, and sadly that was the case. Back then, stillborn babies were taken by hospital staff to be buried with a nice person. The councillors detailed how their constituent had started her search after reading a news story about a woman in the Wirral whose stillborn son had suffered a similar fate in 1969, and after a 53-year search, had found his body in a mass grave with 63 other deceased infants. Their own search uncovered the burial site in Royton, where 303 bodies were found in one plot, but only 147 names were listed online, leaving a further 156 missing, comprising 128 non-stillborn infants and 29 adults. The pair said, "It's a stark injustice that parents were denied the fundamental right to bury their babies, a right that should be inherent and unquestionable." Among the 303 were the resident's 2 brothers, and the discovery left her in tears and feeling a profound sense of loss and injustice, the councillors said. After consulting with staff at nearby Hollinwood Cemetery, who identified the hundreds buried in Royton, the councillors discovered the mass grave was not the only one of its kind. There was one in the Catholic area, one in the nonconformist area, and one in the Church of England section. How many babies are lying in our cemetery, still to this day unknown to relatives? The pair asked. Now, the councillors have urged action, adding that they understood the practice happened throughout the country. In their statement, the independent councillors said they have filed a motion calling on Oldham Council to recognise the loss and suffering in the past and present by publicly marking out each mass grave and erecting a memorial to all our babies born asleep and the many who lay with them forgotten. That records of mass graves in our cemeteries be collated and recorded entirely online so that relatives can, at last, see the final resting place of their babies, children and relatives. To implement and publicise a clear procedure that provides those seeking their loved ones a professional, sensitive and transparent process. Provide relatives with a dedicated point of contact who can support and assist people in this traumatic time. We cannot change what has happened, but we can ensure that the babies born sleeping are named, recognised and never forgotten, they added. In other news, UK house prices have climbed an average of 4.3% in the year to August 2024, marking the strongest performance since November 2022. This uptick has pushed the average property cost to £292,505, just £1,000 shy of the record high set in June 2022, according to the latest Halifax House Price Index, released today. Experts attribute this growth partly to the base effect of weaker prices a year ago and a change in interest rates. Head of Mortgages at Halifax, Amanda Bryden, noted, "Recent price rises build on a largely positive summer for the UK housing market. Prospective homebuyers are feeling more confident thanks to easing interest rates. House price changes by country regional variations in house price growth remain significant across the UK. Northern Ireland continues to lead, recording a robust 9.8% annual increase, with the average property now valued at £201,043. Wales follows with a strong 5.5% growth, pushing average prices to £224,433. Scotland saw a more modest rise of 1.7%, with typical properties costing £205,105. In England, the North West emerged as the strongest performer, with prices up 4% to £232,917. London, despite slower growth of 1.5%, maintains its position as the most expensive UK property market, with average prices at £536,036. These regional disparities highlight the complex nature of the UK housing market, with some areas experiencing significant growth, while others see more modest increases. Experts in the property market have expressed optimism about the recent trends. CEO of Yopa Verona Frankish commented, "The property market really picked up the pace in August with respect to the annual rate of house price growth seen, and there's no doubt that this improving market sentiment has been spurred by the first cut to interest rates since 2020. Director of Benham & Reeves, Mark von Grundher, agreed, adding, "House prices continue to climb on both a monthly and annual basis, and so far, it's been a very solid summer for the UK property market, with both buyer and seller activity levels continuing to improve." However, CEO of Octane Capital, Jonathan Samuels, cautioned, "Whilst positive for home buyers, interest rates remain considerably higher than we've seen in recent years, so it's certainly a case of not running before we can walk and not over-borrowing prematurely based on hopes of future rate cuts." Despite the positive trends, Amanda from Halifax highlighted ongoing challenges. Affordability remains a significant challenge for many potential buyers, still adjusting to higher mortgage costs. Nevertheless, the market's resilience is evident, with mortgage approvals at their highest level in almost 2 years. The expert added, "With market activity picking up and the possibility of further interest rate reductions to come, we expect house prices to continue their modest growth through the remainder of this year." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.